Welcome to XXIM podcast, where we dive into the cutting-edge ideas on decentralization, blockchain, and the new monetary systems. In this exclusive episode, Ankit sits down with Ori Newman, a visionary and a true force behind Kaspa.
I got really interested mainly in the aspect of censorship resistance money.
A true Bitcoin enthusiast who later on joined DAG Labs in 2018.
Bitcoin is a revolutionary invention, but you can improve upon it. Satoshi himself proposed a Namecoin for DNS registration via blockchain.
Ori shares very interesting backstories from his early days at DAG Labs and the process Ori team went through to dissolve it.
I heard a story from Jonathan Sampolinsky that he once tried to use some brain wallets just for test. His password was something like 1234, but once he put the money there, like a matter of seconds before it was stolen.
This session isn't just for the Kaspa community. This is for anyone who still cares about Satoshi Nakamoto's vision.
Yeah, I really hate to see this kind of maximalist discussions in X. Basically, they're saying like, yeah, Bitcoin price is high and this is the reason everything else is meaningless. Kind of hate this circular logic.
Supported by Kaspa.com, the leading Kaspa DeFi with DEX and lending. DAG Labs, atomic programmability on a Kaspa block DAG. Kaspa Finance, the first V3 DeFi protocol on Kaspa.
Today I'm joined by none other than Ori Newman. Welcome, Ori.
Hi, how are you? Nice to be here.
Great to meet you, Ori, and great to have you on XXIM podcast. Ori, perhaps some of the Kaspa community members might not be aware of your background. You're one of the early developers of Kaspa. You started working Kaspa as we know it in 2017 as the key member of DAG Labs, and you're still here contributing to Kaspa in 2025. I do have a lot of questions, a lot of things I wanna get to know today. But why don't you start from your Bitcoin journey first? So how did you discover Bitcoin, which is where you got started early on?
So yeah, I was exposed to Bitcoin in 2013 or something like this, 2012, and basically mainly from libertarian forums. I was really into libertarianism in that time. Still, but now I'm more like into crypto stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got really interested in this, mainly in the aspect of the censorship resistance money. Like I like the way the fact that no one can censor transactions. I also like the aspect of the fixed monetary policy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was mostly attracted to the censorship resistant aspect, and I remember that I think in 2013 the value went really up because of there was some crisis in Cyprus, I think, that like the government confiscated money from the bank, and apparently some people freaked out, and it created a bubble effect in Bitcoin, and it really attracted me, and I wanted to get to know it better.
Right.
And yeah, I also used a little bit of a Silk Road. Like, I think...
Oh yeah, yeah. This is going back in time, Silk Road.
Yeah.
So I think it's 2013, right? Is it the time where Greece, Cyprus, these countries were having difficulties? I think it's around that time, right?
And they have some kind of economic crisis, a debt problem, yeah.
Yeah, debt problem. Yeah, even Spain. I think Spain might have been later on, if I'm not
Greece, the situation was much worse than
Yes.
other countries, but yes.
Yes. So that time you sort of looked at Bitcoin. Somehow you got there through the forums, and then it really attracted you because of the censorship resistant side of things.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's 2013. You got there. What was your first impression? Like, you were in these forums. You have to be ready for this cyberpunk culture. How did you find when you were in those forums?
Yeah, like I remember like my first time purchasing Bitcoin, it was through IRC, a reputation system in IRC. And, everyone had this score, and you had to make a few transactions, and each transaction and increases your score. It was really cool. I think, yeah, I was really impressed with this, some kind of hackery cypherpunk era. It took me time to really understand what's going on technically. Like, I think I had a really, I got the endpoint, like what it achieves pretty much, but my idea of how it works was wrong in the beginning. But for a few years, I didn't really, it was like something I watched like from time to time, the price, the whatever. And I remember Ethereum was launched. I was really excited about it. And really excited about the message of world computer and such stuff. And in about 2016, I really started to get into the technical details. And with time, I got more and more obsessed with this.
Right. So this is 2016 now?
Yeah, something like this.
Right.
And as long as I dug deeper into it,
Hmm.
I was more obsessed and interested, and after some time, I felt like, yeah, I want to quit my job and find some job that's that's focused on crypto. And yeah, I was mainly doing full stack jobs, which were not very interesting for me. And I wanted to do something that is related to this new thing that I conceive as the new revolution. So I started looking out for companies and stuff. And there was some guy I met randomly at a party, and he says, are you into crypto? Like, I have some great idea, like how to improve Bitcoin, and we can go to a hackathon and win a first prize. And
Right. So this is 2017.
yeah, I think. Yeah, so he has this kind of cool idea of improving how brain wallets work. Like, basically, like, yeah, there was some kind of the notion of brain wallet before the inception of seed phrases, but you just you can just like basically you come up with your password, and this is your private key. Yeah. So yeah, but it's something short, and you can just remember it.
I see.
And let's say I'm in some third world country, and I want to go through airport security or something, and I don't want to bring my treasure so people can confiscate it. So I just memorize something, yeah. And this idea was pretty problematic because human don't have enough entropy. Yeah, they
Yeah.
they come up with bad passwords, and then actually I heard a story from Jonathan Sampolinsky that he once tried like to use some brain wallets just for test, and his password was something like 1234. It didn't put any significant amount of money, but once he put the money there, it just like a matter of seconds before it was stolen. You know?
Before it was stolen, I see. Right. Were you working there, or was it more of a
Well, it
proposal?
was a one-time thing. Yeah, so his idea was to take and the brain wallet has this problem that it depends on human randomization, which is a prone to error. And then there was BIP 39, which invented the seed phrase we all know, but it's very long and hard to memorize. So the idea was that we could take something that is also automatically generated, shortened, but the process that so it creates something like 6 words, something that you can memorize. But if you want to take these 6 words and create a wallet, it can take 30 seconds or something like this. So it's although it's very short, the brute force is very costly.
If you don't mind, Ori, can we go back to 2013, 2014 period a little bit, please? I wanted to focus and perhaps ask you this question, right? When you were there in 2013, at the Bitcoin, these forums, do you consider Bitcoin in 2025 to be the same as what it was in 2013, or has changed a lot since that time?
So yeah, I think it changed a lot. I think like in the early days, people didn't really care about altcoins. Like I mean, they weren't afraid of it. Like maybe some altcoins were conceived as bad, yeah, but there was this culture of maximalism. Like I think it was trivial to people that Bitcoin is an invention and a revolutionary invention, but you can improve upon it, yeah, and you can have some neat ideas like Satoshi himself proposed a Namecoin for DNS registration via blockchain. So it was clear for everyone that you can do many things with this basic idea, and everyone who invented something, it was blessed and interesting, yeah. And yeah, now it's not the same anymore. Like yeah, I really hate to see this kind of maximalist discussions in X, etc. And basically they're saying like, yeah, Bitcoin price is high, and this is the reason for itself that everything else is meaningless. So yeah, I kind of hate this circular logic.
Yeah. So those were the pure days when you had a lot of innovation talk and people were open. The culture was open, it seems, back then than what it is today.
Yeah,
innovation.
bad innovation as well. Yeah.
Yes.
People came out like just thought, maybe we'll do something like super nodes, and like people just came out with random ideas. Yeah, but they were still trying to innovate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot. I think now we are more mature as a community, like the community as a whole, to differentiate bad and good ideas. but still in the Bitcoin culture is much more closed now.
Yeah. It is. And I think it's very much price focused. I think today I feel the Bitcoin community pretty much focuses on the price action, not much on the technology front. I think with the core 30, I've seen a little bit of debate on both sides of the aisle. But I think prior to that, it's at least what I've seen on X, it's really about price action. And I think that's perhaps what you're saying as well, right? It's very different culturally from what you saw in 2013.
Yeah, I think like there was this kind of culture. I think, yeah, what happened as I conceive it, I think when I talked a little bit into with the people who are involved with the Bitcoin dev, so they don't have, like, when you look at this argument and source of value is the only thing. So many Bitcoin devs don't think that way, yeah. But I think that Bitcoin devs were very fanatic about the block size because of decentralization concept, decentralization concept, and then it impacted the usability, the medium of exchange aspect, and then the rest of the people started to be apologetic about it. I think it can explain a lot of what happened in this conflict.
Yeah, 100%. So now coming back to, I guess, the time frame 2016, 2017, you were sort of working on this brain wallet. And it's one of thing you sort of did some work and then what happened from there on? What is the next, what's the journey from 2016, 2017 following before you get to Kaspa? I think Kaspa you joined 2017, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 2017, maybe 2018. I'm not sure. I joined it a few months after it was started. So yeah, so in 2017 I started to get into the block size debate as an elder at that time, and so yeah, I was more of a Bitcoin Cash guy, but I wasn't like the fanatics who thought like this is the real Bitcoin and this is Satoshi's vision. I just thought like let's try to find a better trade-off than what we have now if we want to scale. So yeah, I found myself arguing a lot in people, maybe mostly in Israeli Facebook discussion groups, and it was like mostly like in I don't know how it was in the rest of the world, but in Israel all Bitcoiners were like large blocks, big blockers, yeah.
Big blockers, right? So this is Cash and SVB, right? SV, I think.
It was before SV, yeah.
Before SV, right?
And then it was like in this discussion groups, it was myself and Mike Zack against the whole world. And I guess you know who is Mike Zack?
Yes. I've spoken to Mike Zack, actually. We've done one episode with Mike Zack, yeah.
So this is where I actually kind of met him in this discussion groups. So yeah, I kind of liked him because of this, you know. And then when I developed this brain wallet thing, so we actually won the hackathon together, and because Israel is very small, so I appeared in the newspaper after.
Congratulations.
And then Mike Zack saw me and he thought like, this is the guy I know from Facebook. And he decided to invite me to an interview in DAG Labs. and yeah, I think and then I started to work with DAGLabs.
That is a beautiful story. So you and Mike Zach were on the Bitcoin forums, basically pro bigger block size.
Yeah.
And then who were the people that you were opposing? What were their arguments those days? Like they wanted block size to be stay the same, basically.
Yeah, I think the main argument was like decentralization and like that it harms this decentralization. And one big argument at the time was that Lightning will solve it all. Like there was really this belief that everything people said about Lightning is a fad, and like at that time Lightning was not production ready at all, and there was this hope that Lightning will come and will solve every scalability issue of Bitcoin. And it didn't happen. Lightning suffered for a lot of liquidity issues, scalability issues, and other stuff. So yeah, that was the general sentiment.
Right. So Mike Zach came to you and he said, "Hey, let's talk about a new protocol." Right? DAG Labs were just formed, I think 2017. But there were other protocols, right? Like we talked about Bitcoin Cash. This is around 2017, 2018 when both there were two folks I think happened on Bitcoin, right? Cash and Bitcoin SV. I think it was later on.
Yeah,
and they were both focused on the argument that you were supporting. So why didn't you consider joining them?
first of all, I got a job.
I see. It was a job. I see.
But I think as I got more into DAGLabs and I started to understand better the research, I also was more exposed to the downside of increasing the block size indefinitely. And I started to see the beauty of DAG protocols. Like from theoretical point, DAG protocols are kind of perfect, I think, because if you want like the ideal protocol, so what it does, it processes all the information and tries to give the best outcome. And this is pretty much what like a DAG is a very good representation of reality, because you basically tell a miner, just tell me what you know. Like this is the current time. Tell me how you see the networks, and they tell you through their parents how they see the network at the time the block was created. And there is also this aspect of a very high block rate. So ideally, you also want the miner to tell you as frequent as possible about his viewpoint, so you can process the best outcome out of your ordering protocol, out of your consensus. So I think this is why I see like any good consensus protocol should be DAG based at the end of the time.
Yeah.
And I was also very impressed about the actual DAG protocols that were developed in DAGLabs. Yeah, it kind of like the current protocol Kaspa operates on is called the Ghost DAG, and it kind of assumes max latency of the network. And as long as your confirmation time waits longer than that latency, you have very fast finality beyond that.
Yeah.
And then after that, Michael and Jonathan came out with a genius protocol called DAG,
Yeah.
which doesn't assume any latency on the network, just adapts automatically, which is very, very cool. So, so what it means is that if we launch with DAG today, and today internet latency is like 2 seconds, it operates with 2 seconds. But if like 5 years from now, it's like half a second, so it means that the developers don't need to do nothing, and the confirmation times will decrease. And also, this is one part that Jonathan trying to emphasize a lot, that the other direction is also correct. Like, if there is some kind of catastrophe, and the latency goes like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
or something like this, DAG can still operate, and the Bitcoin's assumption are broken. But generally, I joined the DAG Labs, and so I was really impressed from this academic research focused area, and like it was nothing. I've never worked in this kind of environment. I was really impressed with it. Very professional, very high profile people.
This is 2017, 2018. You joined the DAG Lab team. Who were there? Who were the other employees of DAG Lab at that time?
So there was in the beginning there was Jonathan, of course.
Yeah.
And there was Mike Zack, the lead dev at that time. Also someone called Stas. This one is not was not a crypto dude. Like he kind of got there by accident, but he was a very talented developer and very open-minded, and really like he was enthusiastic about learning about crypto and stuff. Yeah, and also there was some co-worker of Jonathan from co-researcher, and that was pretty much it.
One thing I've always wondered is, when the DAG Lab got started, was the plan always to launch Kaspa at that time? Or there was no such plan, it just came along during the process of DAG Labs?
Yeah, it was planned. Like, what's the alternative? Later on, we came with the name Kaspa, which is, by the way, means, I don't know if you heard about it, Dandruff in Spanish. So we found out about it, and we chose it because in Aramaic it means silver, yeah. But we found out it means dandruff in Spanish, and we were very worried, and we started asking people from Latin America, do you think it's fine? What's the translation?
It means dandruff in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right. I did not know that. So it's something you learn.
Yeah. And we decided on the name, and we kind of started to love it, but then we found out about it, and we thought, no, wow, we need to change the name now. But we asked a lot of marketing people in Latin America, and we concluded it's not that bad. Like, we asked the people, what do you think about the name Kaspa? And they say, I think about the shampoo. I think it's not something you use in day to day, but mostly in commercials and stuff. So it's not that bad. But I don't know, my Spanish is very bad.
So you did do your homework, and then you guys still decided to go with Kaspa.
Yeah, and I think it went well eventually.
No, I think the brand is huge, and it's. I think Kaspa as a brand is definitely very clear, and a lot of people get behind it. So no, I think this is the right choice.
Yeah.
The hindsight, right? But that's great. So what were you brought in to do at that time? So 2017, 2018, you were there. Why? What was your role at that time?
So we didn't really have defined roles. Like we were just there was a lot of brainstorming, and I I don't want to say it was a democratic organization because this is not the exact definition, but very non-hierarchic. Yeah, non-hierarchic.
Yeah.
So I was a developer, but we thought about many things together and brainstormed them, and I talked a lot about things with research, and like in the beginning there was like some kind of research team and development team, and so research came with something, and then I thought and thought this looks broken, and I came back to research. So this is a lot of what I did. I was like some kind of a bridge between the development team and the research team, but it's not like my official role, but a lot. But yeah, yeah, in research they did. Sometimes they didn't think about some edge case that you have to think about when you are actually developing it. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. Later on, like when maybe I'm jumping a little bit to the future, but later on I became kind of the lead dev, but I didn't have any team to lead because I was the only dev when
You're still a lead. You're still a lead dev. That's great. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if I'm jumping. Maybe we'll talk about it later because it was pretty much when Kaspa was launched.
When you came into this DAG Labs, right? Were you focused on Golang? Like, were you brought in to focus on that?
Yeah, actually, we were considering if to choose Golang or Rust, and we chose Go, and it was the wrong decision probably, but it just seemed easier, and at that time there was more ecosystem around it, and yeah, eventually we saw that it's very hard to optimize with Go. Like the language is not really built around it, and the garbage collector was a bottleneck and such stuff. So we moved to Rust later on. But yeah.
Go is still a backbone of a lot of different blockchains, right? Initially developed by, I think it was invented by Google.
Yeah.
And then in 2007, 2008. So Go has been around for a long time. And it's been, backbone of many blockchains, likes of Cosmos, Filecoin, even Ethereum, I think it still uses Go. So that was the initial decision you guys took, and then obviously moved on to Rust. I think 2022, 2023.
Yeah, I think initially Go marketed itself as what Rust is actually is, because it marketed itself as a safer C, and but it didn't really keep this like it was safer C, but it was also slower C, and the safety guarantees weren't very bulletproof. Yeah, So yeah, and we needed to optimize a lot. And for example, we saw that. So I just want to say that I think many blockchain projects use Go because of this marketing, and later on, many understood that Rust is the language that is actually achieving it. Yeah, and for Ethereum, so and many projects they have this manpower to optimize Go, although it's not trivial. It's like Facebook started with PHP, and they ended up reinventing PHP to optimize it. Yeah. So when you're that big, people are doing that stuff.
Yeah. I see. So this is now, we are in 2020. So when did this Go became Rust? Like, when did this transition start to happen from, hey, we need to move from Go to Rust?
So it happened after launch. So we launched with Go, and then we started. We decided that we want to go to 10 BPS, and then we just knew that it won't be possible with Go. Maybe it will, but it will be a big headache, And so yeah, we started this transition of rewriting it, and with more performance in mind, like performance oriented development. And we actually it was a big project. We raised the money for it for the Discord from the community.
And these transitions, I think, if people are not from the technical background, I think these transitions are very challenging. It takes a long time.
Yeah, long time. I think we said that like when we raised the money, we said that it will take 1 year, and it ended up taking 2 years or something like this. Like the whole Rust and moving to 10 BPS. Yeah. But
yeah. But Kaspad, which was the original, Kaspa original full node implementation was on Go, right? So that was the first.
Yeah. Actually, I think that it also affected like some bugs in the Kaspa launch. Like, I think like when we launched, basically we wanted to launch, and there was a lot of questions of how we launch exactly. The initial idea was to launch with a pre-mined model, like everyone else is doing. Yeah, so we were thinking about how we launch, and the trivial idea was to launch with a pre-mined model. And if anyone is not aware what it is, that means like pre-allocate some of the supply to the developers, and so they can pay for to the investors and such stuff. And then I talked about it a little bit with the team, and mainly with Jonathan, that like many hardcore crypto people won't really relate to the idea of pre-mine. So we thought about alternative ideas. So one idea we came up with was that we won't do any pre-mine, but instead we will use some algorithm where we are the only ones who have ASICs for it. But then we will use some kind of mechanism to sell the hash rates to the community, something like ICO, but for mining power.
I see. Yeah.
And we thought that it might be conceived as more pure because technically the consensus protocol is untouched, and there is no pre-mine and nothing in the protocol that prefers you, but still you have a head idea of you have some first mover advantage on the mining market. So this was the initial idea, and we tried to go forward with it. But after some time, like we saw that this can't really catch on, and we thought that this kind of cryptocurrency doesn't really have a potential. It wants like a scalability solution with something like pre-mine, but it's not pre-mine. It was really interesting. It interests anyone. So we kind of decided to close DAGLabs and just launch Kaspa as a fair launch project, a completely fair launch, and see what it is, what will be, and maybe the investors will get something, maybe they won't. The investor didn't really care because they didn't invest like big amount of money. Like I think it was $8 million they invested, which especially in like that time, like 2017, it wasn't really big for crypto, you know. So they just let us decide whatever we want. So we ended up just launching a fair launch project, and the mining algorithm we chose it like 2 days before launch. Like we didn't want anyone to get the advantage, so we discussed it openly in Discord, in the public Discord. I liked the heavy hash algorithm because it lets the potential of optical miners who are focused on CapEx. But so we thought about heavy hash algorithm, but for heavy hash algorithm there was already a project who developed a heavy hash called the Optical Bitcoin, and they already have FPGAs for it. So we tweaked it a little bit so they won't have any advantage over others, and we just launched with it. So and then we didn't really think that will interest anyone, and we thought that maybe there will be like 10 miners, 20 miners, but then there were thousands. And we weren't really prepared for that. Like there was some kind of a bug that because the fair launch was the launch was a little bit rushed, so it made the block headers size a little bit too big, and the Go client just couldn't handle it because like
Right.
it could handle it, like in our test it handled it, but the messy network we had of thousands of miners, it created a big bottleneck on the network, and the network was very chaotic.
I bet.
And so a lot of like there were kind of like generally the DAG should converge, like it should stay in a constant size, constant width, but because of this network issues, it split to many faraway DAGs. So we had to kind of start over and launch a new Genesis block, and it was like an entirely new Genesis. It was like it's a Genesis with the commitment of the previous UTX subset.
Okay.
So it's like it was just like the easiest way to say to be like we fixed those bugs, like the header size bug, and we told people like now everything that goes beyond this point is not counted anymore, and in 24 hours we launch with this new Genesis or something like this, and that's it. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but this is what happened.
This is not on the launch day, right? So this would have been later on.
Yeah, like about 2 weeks, 3 weeks in.
So within the 2 first weeks, you were saying you had 1,000 miners joined the network.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers,
Yeah,
but at least hundreds. Like
right. I personally wasn't aware of that. That's a testament to the work you guys did.
I think like the interest was if a combination of two things.
Yeah.
So we launched with a CPU friendly algorithm. Like it's not a CPU friendly algorithm, but there was no GPU miner, so CPU could mine it.
Yeah.
And so it was a project that was funded by VCs, really serious project, but still fair launch, CPU mineable. So this kind of combination attracted a lot of people because anyone could mine it from his home computer, and then it also has this reputation value. Usually it's VC funded, so it is must with GPU miners from day one, and you don't have any chance. Yeah.
How you personally felt at that time, in terms of your own safety net?
Yeah. So actually, yeah. So after DAGLabs dissolved, so I didn't have any degree or certification before, but because I was really inspired by the people I worked with, I decided to start a degree in mathematics in the computer science. So I just started my studies immediately after the result, but I was also the only developer left. So this was what I was doing. I wasn't really worried about safety net or I was just focused with that. But then it started to become really difficult to combine these two. So after some time, I asked Michael Sutton to join and help me. And eventually he became the lead developer, and I'm very happy for it because I don't have his leadership skills. Like I think the team Kaspa has now is amazing, and I couldn't do it. So I'm really happy with how things ended up eventually. Before that, he was mainly focused on research. He didn't like before Kaspa launch, he didn't write one line of code in the Kaspa code base. Maybe lit some Python code for simulations, but he's a really talented developer and also a great leader. So I'm happy with the state things.
That's great. That's great. So now, fast forward to 2025, right? Can you draw any parallels between, early days of Bitcoin, 2013, 2014, 2015, to sort of early days of Kaspa? For me, Kaspa is still very early, right? It's only been 4 years, actually coming up to 4 years. Can you draw any parallels between the communities of both? Are there anything that comes to you sort of that stood out or stands out to you?
So I think the Kaspa community, like Bitcoin at those days, is pretty focused on decentralization and trustlessness. But I also see some properties that Kaspa community lacks, mainly technical knowledge. Like, I think at that time there were many participants in the Bitcoin forums and the Bitcoin mailing lists, and Kaspa still needs to improve that aspect. It is improving. The developer team is growing, and but it's still in terms of knowledge, it's still centralized, and we need to change that. I think you noticed that I just launched a Q&A website for Kaspa, so this is a part of what I had in mind. I launched something like Stack Overflow, but for Kaspa. The idea was that everyone can participate and have his own reputation and incentive to join. So I know that in the beginning it will be mostly me writing stuff, and I even started with writing my own questions and then answering them. But it's really important for me to develop this knowledge base, and that a lot of people asking things in Discord and X, and then it's really hard to find it after, So for me, one of the biggest missions of Kaspa is to improve the knowledge base and to increase the developer base.